right, everyone. So good evening, good evening. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. We're gonna go ahead and get started. This is gonna be a very simple, low-key evening. I'm gonna try to answer as many questions as I possibly can. We cannot be on this call all night. But I am gonna try to eliminate. I've already seen that there are some duplicate questions. Pretty much everyone may have. So drop your questions in the chat so that I can see them and we can try to get them answered as soon as possible. So the purpose of this call is kind of just basically just to, review some things for those who are already dispatching and perhaps answer some questions for those that are trying to get started, get into the business and things like that. So I just wanted to kind of, hop on, do a free call and literally just try to answer as many questions as I possibly can. So I'm going to go through right now. I'm going to mute everyone so that you guys can hear me and everyone can hear the questions and hear everything as we're going along. If anybody needs to be unmuted, just simply use the raise hand feature in your chat, and I think it should be down at the bottom. And we'll go from there to be sure that we are answering as many questions as we possibly can tonight. All right, let's do this. And as I'm reading your question, I may actually call you up to get kind of like a understanding to make sure that I'm answering your question correctly. So we'll start out with my girl Ebony explaining. Ebony, you can actually hop on, unmute yourself, and actually tell me your question.
Ebony Bell, is there another one? Is this
Ebony Bell, the only, the one and only.
Okay. So what did I ask?
You wanted to know about dispatch agreements?
Yes. For example, a new hire come on, they're gonna become a dispatcher for my company. What type of agreement should I present to him or her, and what should be in that agreement? For example, days off. You need to start at 6 a.m. What is expected of you? What you cannot do? Things of that nature. Should it even be a agreement such as that, or give them the option because they really work for themselves?
So absolutely, you definitely have to have some agreement going on when you're bringing anyone in to represent your company and your brand. So those rules and guidelines have to be based on, what you're looking for, the type of person that you're looking for, and just understand that everybody is not going to fit what you have to offer, and everybody's not going to fit your company, your brand. For me personally, I set what I wanted to pay. And I kind of like set the standards. It is an independent contract 1099 position unless you plan on bringing them on as W-9, but they're independent contractors. I just ask for certain things out of respect, not out of requirements, like, when you're going to be out and things like that. They mostly everyone that works with Gold Star is very, very, very compliant as far as speaking to their needs, saying when they're going to be out, when they're not available, and communicating. Definitely communication is going to be the most important part of anybody that you bring on. As far as the rates to decide, if they have a little bit of experience, maybe you pay them a little bit more of a higher percentage based on if they're brand new coming in and you actually have to do some training. So you just have to kind of like gauge what you actually, my agreement is really small. It's actually 2 pages, if that. Gauge what it is that you want, what you're looking for, who it is that you're trying to get to represent your company, and then go from there.
Okay, gotcha. All right. And I think the next one is having a Google Voice number okay to start with? Or what do you recommend?
To start with, yeah. To get out of that, definitely as soon as possible. There are different numbers like Vonage, Vonage. That's what I have. I paid for a year for my 1-800 number. You also have GoDaddy. They also have I think it's called smartphone or something like that with GoDaddy. Literally, I think maybe $10 to $14 a month for phone number. So there are different ways to get different phone numbers. There's also one called Second Line. I hate Google Voice because of the introduction at the beginning, like, press 1, you can talk to them and so on and so forth. But, starting out, not to spend that additional money, yeah, Google Voice will suffice so that you're not putting your own personal cell phone number out there for everyone to see.
Okay, cool. And I think I got a good one next. It was, what are the best load boards to use? I saw somebody ask about my virtual fleet and and no man.
That's always a hard question for me to ask because it's not about if there's a good load board to use. Everything is about timing. Because if I can go on, DAT and not find anything for a few hours, and then I can turn around and find something on 123 or find something on truck stop. So with trucking, everything is about timing. Like, do you want to spend, hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a monthly basis on all of these load board subscriptions? Maybe not. It all depends on how many trucks you're actually dispatching for. If you have one or two trucks and maybe one or two load boards, you have to try to keep your costs down. Keep in mind, every time you subscribe for a load board, it's going to be a cost. So you have DAT, 123, truck stop, DOFT.com. And then, of course, like I always tell everybody, don't forget to utilize the company load boards. Don't forget places like Millhouse and ArcBest and CH Robinson, TQL, Landstar, Nolan. These are all free company load boards. Most of the larger companies will not put every single one of their loads on the load board. And what happens is a lot of people miss out on the money or miss out on the better loads because they're only looking at the load boards. They're not going to the actual source. They're not going to the JB Hunts or going to the CH Robinson to find the loads. They're just going on the load boards, just on DAT and just on truck stop. So a lot of times it's definitely not about how good a load board is. It's really about timing. I always tell people, you can try load boards out. Load boards is not something that has subscription. So if you get one for 30 days, you don't like it, cancel it and go to another one, try something else. But it's all going to be based on the type of equipment that you're dealing with and the clients that you have on whether or not a load board works for you.
Thank you. I hope that helps some others as well. Thanks a lot, Darl.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So we got, how do I sign up for my virtual fleet? How much does it cost? The cost part, I don't know. I want to say to start up, it's like a little over 300. And then for the month, I think it depends on how many users you have. So I think there's like a contact person on there that you can reach out to on their website. And I think Fatima, are you trying to talk to me?
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you because I was on the video demo earlier today, and the guy, his name is Samuel. Sam, yeah, you do have to have a carrier, and I think if you do the video demo, they give you $100 off. So today when I did the demo, it was like $300 and something. It was for something altogether, minus the 100, it was $350, and then plus the $65 monthly fee.
Right.
So it was a one-time payment of $3 something. So that's what it was today. And I was on there with them today trying to figure out, what is what. And that's the little bit of information. I kind of got a bad vibe off of him because he kind of muted me because he was asking me questions and I was answering. And brother just muted me. And I was like, really? Like, people was asking questions and I couldn't answer. So I don't know what's going to happen with that one, but I'll go back to him when I have another carrier. So I don't know. But yeah.
We're touch and go with my virtual fleet. Sometimes I like it. Sometimes I don't like it. I spent I probably say 90% of the time not liking it. You definitely have to have a carrier to sign up. It's almost like Selectus. People you can responding or trying to get bids from the brokers, and they're not responding to you because they see that you're using multiple carriers or multiple MCs. So just like Selectus, it's supposed to be a load board used for one carrier, not for a dispatcher to use to dispatch everyone. It's just supposed to be used for that one carrier. So when you're on and maybe you get a response back from a broker and he's like, are you the carrier signed up to use this, and so on and so forth. So he starts asking all these questions. And, once you tell them that you're dispatcher, then they're like, they start responding to your request. So it's touch and go with my virtual fleet. I honestly don't understand why he charges $300 and something to sign up. It is really not that serious. The $65 a month maybe, but that $300 setup, it's not that serious of a load board for me to say that I have to have my virtual fleet. That's my opinion. Like I said, you're more than welcome to try these load boards out, try what works best for you, and then you can move forward with your business from there. But my opinion is I don't like All right. So when you first started out with your owner op, who has the courier dispatch practice? What should it have in it? Chanel Jones, come to the stage. You can unmute yourself, or do I need to unmute? Can you?
Okay, I think I got it.
All right. Hey, how you doing?
All right.
Good. All right. So explain your question to me.
Okay, so I just started up the business. I got all the paperwork, everything. I haven't actually started dispatching yet, but I have a couple owner ops that I'm going to work with. So I just need to know what process or what paperwork do I need to have, on hand. That way I can, start the process since I've never done it before.
So you're talking about your courier to dispatcher agreement.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I call mine a courier to dispatcher agreement. There are some people out there, a lot of dispatchers that use contracts. I would always say steer away from contract person, because you don't want to force anyone to stay with you or force anyone to use you as a dispatch service. If you're not providing a service to them, if you're not doing what they need, then they need to be free to try another dispatcher out or whatever the case. I've seen contracts where it was like, you have to stay with me for 90 days, or you have to stay here for this amount of time, or so on and so forth. So I always say agreements. I agree to provide you this list of service, or, this list of service, and you agree to pay me. That's it. So you have to establish what's going to be in your agreement. A part of your agreement needs to be, what your fees are. Anything in your fee schedule that you want to add, as far as, if there's a late fee, if you do this, or if you don't pay it this amount of time, it's this. Anything that you want them to see, when they come on for you, needs to be in your agreement. A limited power of attorney needs to be in your agreement. And then a courier profile. That courier profile is going to ask all the other questions that the documents don't answer. Like, what's your MC? How long has your MC been active? Your factory company, insurance company, anything about that driver and anything about that unit that you need to know. Because when you're on the phone with the broker, the last thing you want to do is like, oh, I don't know, let me call my driver. So the more information you have that you've collected beforehand, the better of a packet that you have. So
now,
once you have your...
is there like an example or something that I can maybe download or get, at least so I know?
You can definitely do a Google search for dispatch courier agreements, and just kind of like, nitpick. They don't have to be long, and just nitpick the areas that you want, and then kind of like, switch it up, change it a little bit, and do what you need to do. And then also be sure you collect a W-9, a COI, and a letter of authority.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Very welcome. All right. Let's see. Can you recommend an app to remove or upload new logos to career profile agreements that are pinned in Slack? Mecca, are you talking about my agreement that's in Slack? Right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello. Yes. The ones that you have pinned that you said we can use, but just remove the logo.
Yep.
How can I go about moving the logo? Everything that I save it to, it doesn't give me an option to remove the logo. Is there like a certain app that you would suggest, or like a Word doc to use?
There should be two documents in there. There should be a PDF and there should be a Word doc. The Word doc is the only one that you can alter. If the Word doc is not in there, I know a few times it has gotten deleted. If it's not in there, let me know and I'll drop it in there.
Okay, I will check and then I'll let you know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Kendra Stevens, what is the process to become a dispatcher? The process, how you become a dispatcher, is totally up to you. Some people like to Google their information, and other people like to take classes. I offer classes. There are several other people out there that offer classes. The first thing that I would tell you is do your research on whoever you decide to take a class from. And once you do your research, have some type of mentorship or, a group. Leading Ladies of Logistics group is a good group to be in when it comes to questions, and kind of like, helping you along the way. But definitely take a class, get some mentorship, do your education, and then just follow the steps to get your business started. You're definitely going to need LLC, EIN, a DUNS number, a business bank account, and then from there, just whatever your systems are, your load boards, and your marketing. And I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, what tips would you recommend to start scaling your business in regards to get dedicated contracts? All right, Ms. Foster, dedicated contracts for who?
So I have 10 trucks right now, semis, and I have 7 dry vans and 3 reefers. But I wanted to see if I can offer dedicated contracts. Like, am I allowed to go to shippers and say, hey, I have 10 trucks? Only one of them is my personal truck, but the rest is my carriers. But if we're working together, am I allowed to go to them? Like on Truck and Hustle, I think you said like you started going to shippers on the podcast where I first heard you. You was like, you just went and started going in there every day and like working with them. And are you allowed to do that even though my carrier's trucks aren't mine, but they're giving me authority like to say, hey, I'll run wherever you send me, which is what they pretty much do now.
Okay, so as a dispatcher, we cannot secure dedicated freight. You can't secure dedicated freight saying I have 10 trucks that are not your own. What you can do is you go to that shipper and you say, hey, I have MC number 191919. He's based in Atlanta. He has 4 trucks, and you have the power of attorney, so you do have, you can speak on his behalf. So you're going to him on his behalf only. Just that MC. You can't go to them and say, I'm a dispatcher and I dispatch for 87 trucks and I'm looking for dedicated freight for all of my trucks. Because what happens is they're thinking you want to be paid as a dispatcher, which is illegal. You have to be, each one of those MC numbers would have to be paid on that contract. Okay, so it all depends on how you word it. All right, but just understand that you can't have a dedicated contract as a dispatcher. That's why it bothers me sometimes when I see people post loads and they don't say they're a dispatcher, because what the people who are reading your loads have to understand is you are still dispatching that load. A broker came to you and says, this is what I have available. Do you have anyone? So you're going to post it and say, hey, this, I have this load. I'm a dispatcher. This makes them understand that there will be a fee assessed if I dispatch this load to you. But if you just go and post and say, hey, I'm such and such, and I have dedicated lanes, hit me up. You don't have dedicated lanes as a dispatcher. Okay, you can speak on behalf of that MC at that time. Okay, while you're talking to that particular shipper, if he tells you, hey, if you know anybody else, I have more freight or whatever, you can explain to him that you're a dispatcher, you have another truck, and so on and so on. But each one still needs to be paid under their own MC. Now, when it comes to dispatchers getting paid on dedicated freight, I would definitely try to figure out how much time you spent, negotiating, if you're doing paperwork and anything like that, if you're still going to be dispatching and tracking that truck throughout the dedicated route, how they're going to pay you. If they're still going to pay you the 10% per load, or if they're just going to pay you a lump fee for speaking on their behalf and actually securing the lane.
Okay, and then I had one more other question. Like, what systems do you live by? Because some days I just be like ready to go back to work. Like, I'd be like with invoicing and the paperwork part. I'm like, I just need some type of system. Like, do you have like a certain thing that you just have to do? Like, do you invoice daily? Do you invoice every other day? Or because some days I'm telling you, I'd be like, I don't know.
Let me tell you something about dispatching. If you are not organized in dispatching, it won't work.
Right.
You'll feel like you just doing the most, you all over the place, you don't know if coming or going. You'll be sitting there thinking, did I invoice him? Or did he pay me? Or just trying to figure out like if you're going right or left. So your systems are very, 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 very important. I teach people in my class that, determine what you need right now to get started. Because everything is going to be a fee. QuickBooks is going to be a fee. 17 hats is going to be a fee. The logo boards is going to be a fee. But these are things that you have to run a successful business. Me, I live by 17 hats. Me and my team, you know, we put all our couriers in there. Any information, you know, that we need to find as far as, you know, what, you know, any documents or anything we put in Dropbox. As far as invoicing, we use QuickBooks. I can easily go on and see, you know, whether or not my you know, driver has been paid, and you know, so I mean, not driver, as my driver has paid his invoices. Fortunately for me, I have an amazing team, so I don't do no invoicing. Thank you, Jesus. Because it will get hectic for a minute. But I have an amazing team that assists me in, you know, in some of the roles that, you know, that they do in order to make Gold Star go round and round. Because if I was still doing it by myself, I wouldn't be on this call with y'all right. So
Thank you.
definitely, you know, find your systems, you know, figure out, you know, this is how much money I want to spend on systems. You know, definitely take a look at 17 hats. I think it's amazing. If you're not using QuickBooks for your invoicing for your drivers, you are doing yourself a disservice. I know it costs. I know it, you know, PayPal is cheaper, Honeybooks is cheaper, but QuickBooks will save your life. So if you're not using it, definitely take a look into it. If you need help setting it up or information on it, Vanessa, the money architect, is really, really good at that.
I love her too. Yeah, she is amazing too. Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope that answered your question. All right. Which broker has the most box truck load? I don't know. No, this is like the magic question. That's where y'all, whatever y'all heard about me and box trucks is not true. It's not true. It's not true. I will tell you something. So, you know, I heard, I think somebody just said they heard my interview on Truck and Hustle, and you know, people have heard me for years talk about box trucks. When I started talking about box trucks, there was not a million box trucks on the road. There was not all these box trucks. There was no PPP money. So people was not going out buying all these box trucks. Now you just sneeze and a box truck is on the road. Okay. I have done setup for probably over 30 box trucks just in the past 30 days, if that. So box trucks are becoming overwhelming. So the loads we were getting before, how the money was flowing in before, was totally different than how things are working now. Is it possible? Heck yeah. Are the loads out there? Heck yeah. What broker has them? I still gonna say I don't know. It's all about relationships. Anything that you do in this business is about relationships, especially as a dispatcher. You need to make sure that you are dealing with couriers that are going to you know, show up and show out when it comes to, you know, going to these brokers, going to these shippers and representing you per se. Yeah, they're on their own authority, but at the same time, I'm building relationships with these brokers. So if I'm sending couriers out there that are late, never on time, they're not dressed professionally, they're not doing the right thing, it looks bad on me. I had a shipper one time give me a call and said, "Don't you ever send this driver to my warehouse again." And it was a chick, and she showed up in a bonnet on her head and some furry pink slippers. And he was upset because he felt like, you know, he didn't want her in his warehouse like that. But I totally get it. So it was not a representation of herself. It definitely was not a good representation of me. So when it comes to box trucks, it's all about relationships. You just never know who's gonna have these loads. You know, TQL has a lot of them. You know, you got what is it? Fastmore is pretty good with them. There's a lot. It's just all about who has the loads at that particular time, and at the same time, who's going to give you the rate that you're looking for the load. You know, keep in mind when you're looking for these loads, it's not all about the SB. You know, I see a load that says SB. If you're not looking, you know, if you don't have your search set for van hot shots, if you don't have your search set for vans or vans with lift gate, you may be missing out on some loads. So you just have to be, you know, careful when you're looking for your loads to be sure that you have your search criteria as broad as possible. Because the important part is that you never know how a broker has the load posted. So if the only thing that you're looking for is SB or V for van, what if he has it posted for van with lift gate and it's 4,000 pounds and 2 feet? What if he has it posted van with hot shot? You never know how he has the load posted. So broaden your search and you'll have a little bit more results in searching for box truck loads. All right, so when getting paid, do you use the business bank account or can you go onto something else? Always use your business bank account. Once you have your business set up, your LLC, your EIN, your DUNS number, your business bank account, you're a business. You're not a hustle. We're not cash apping you. So you want to use your business bank account in everything that you do, whether it's money going in or money going out. It'll make it your taxes in your county very, very much easier at the end of the year if you have a source versus trying to find out what was business out of your personal account, what was here. And at the same time, if you ever go for loans or grants or anything like that, they want to only see what is going on with your business, not in your personal account. You can't tell them, oh no, I did this on my business, but I took this out of my personal account. They want to see an established, utilized business account. So once you have your business account set up, use it for incoming and out or anything business. What all does your mentorship offer? If you're talking about my mentorship personally or leading ladies mentorships, that's two totally different. Mine, it just all depends. So the 90-day program is definitely going to, the 90-day program is kind of different. So it depends if you are a driver getting your truck and all of your documentations and stuff like that, then that's what we'll go over. That's what we'll do. Make sure your paperwork is correct. Make sure you have your truck, your insurance, and everything will get you on the road within 90 days. If you're a dispatcher, it's the same thing. It's kind of like mentoring you through the process, the start of the process from A to Z, whether it's your paperwork, helping you with dispatching, whatever it is, you'll have, the 90-day program. Or you can just the plain one-on-ones can be done in person, or they can be done in person if you're in Atlanta, or they can be done online Zoom. Those are just basically 30 minutes or hours. And those, whatever you want to discuss within that 30 minutes or hour. All right. How you make just as much money with box trucks as 18 wheelers? Talk to me, Tisha. I don't understand. Is she on here? I could be saying her name wrong. Tisha Nicole? No. Not on here. She just dropped the question and left.
No,
Well,
I'm here. I'm here. I'm sorry.
No, you good.
No, I was just saying, I heard that you can make as much with 18 wheelers as you can with box trucks. So I was just wondering if that was true.
Are you talking about dispatching?
Yes, ma'am.
So definitely if you're dispatching for 18 wheelers, your profit is going to look a little different. But at the same time, our profit don't look bad on box trucks. You have to think about it with box trucks. If you're charging 10% for a box truck, meaning if you have the experience to charge 10% to dispatch a box truck, you should be making really good money. So you just think about it. If you bring in your box truck $5,000 a week, you're making $500. And if you're able to organize yourself enough to dispatch for 4 to 5 box trucks at one time, 5 trucks times $500, you're making $2,500. Okay. So it was definitely a no-brainer when it comes to box truck. It's just that people don't want it. They don't want the time. It's too much for them. It's too much work. They don't want to work for work. And I get it, but you just have to set your criteria a little different when it comes to dispatching for box trucks. We don't dispatch for anybody that's local. If you're local, you can locally find your own doggone loads because it's too much work. You'll be sitting there for 5 hours looking for a load that's going from your garage to your mailbox so you can be home every night. And then you have to think about it. You find a local load, it's $500. You made $50. For what? Well, if I find your OTR load that's paying $1,500, I made $150. So if I spent 5 hours looking for that OTR load versus me spending 5 hours looking for that local load, it's a waste of my time. So you have to, as dispatchers, you have to set your criteria. Don't be so excited that, oh, I got a courier, I'm just going to dispatch for anybody. If he doesn't fit what you're trying to do in your business, then another courier will come. I promise you. We doing they set up right now. So they coming. Okay. So don't be afraid to let them go if they don't fit the criteria that you're looking for as a courier. As far as 18-wheelers, again, whatever you feel like you're qualified to set your rate for. We charge 8%. So, with that 8%, the line haul rate is higher. So that 8%, the payout for that may be the same thing as the 10% on a box truck. So kind of like, and the same thing with flatbeds, although with, flatbeds and refrigerated, you're more likely to make a little bit more money with versus 18-wheelers or 18-wheelers or box trucks.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I hope they answered your question.
Yes, ma'am, you did.
Okay. All right. So what tips do you recommend for someone who's new in the industry with no experience? Same thing that I just said. If you're new in the industry with no experience, get you a mentor. Research. We definitely want you. There's so many people out there that offer trainings, mentorship, coaching. Don't just jump on the first one you see. Find out what their reviews are. Find out who took their class. Find out some information before you start paying these people some money. What do they actually know? How long they've been in business? Because I promise you, there are people who MC just got active on in February and they just started teaching classes. So, you have to do your due diligence when it comes to the research and the people that you want mentoring you. Because at the end of the day, if they're not mentoring you with the correct information, then that's going to reflect your new business that you're going to start. And it becomes discouraging that you're not getting the information that you're looking for. You're not getting the correct information and you're still confused. So definitely do your research, find out who's been doing it, and a lot of times I see people and like, oh, I even had one the other day that said, oh, so-and-so was cheaper. Her class, I think she did mentoring for $200 for 6 months. You're gonna get that on goldstylelogistics.com. I'm sorry. That's a lot to be mentoring somebody for 6 months for $200. But at the same time, what are you getting? Always remember, in any industry, you're gonna get what you pay for. But definitely do your research, find out who is a good mentor, who is a good coach, and take a good class and decide how you want to come into the industry. I get a lot of people in my one-on-ones asking me, should they become a broker before a dispatcher? And the answer to that is no. And again, these are just my opinions. And the reason why I say no is because if you don't have experience in a broker, then you want to start out learning the terminology, learning transportation, learning just logistics before just spending money on a $75,000 surety bond, and so that you can get an understanding of what's going on when it comes to brokerage. So start out with dispatching, learn the terminology, learn the industry from the bottom up. And then from there, you grow into doing multiple different things. You can be a dispatcher, then on the side, you can be a freight agent, then learn compliance. One thing about logistics is you can have several streams of income within this one industry. Okay. Do you recommend starting out as a dispatcher before? I just asked that question. Yeah. So no, Stephanie, I do not. I mean, yes, I recommend starting out as a dispatcher before becoming a broker. Okay. How do I get carriers to trust me as a new dispatcher? You get carriers to trust you by your communication. I had a young lady a couple of weeks ago. She put out there, as far as dispatching, she'll start dispatching for you. And I think she brought them in like at an introductory price. You have to be able to sell your value, and that may not always be dispatching. Sell your value, sell your personality, sell your communication, sell your organization skills. But never get out there and telling anyone, hey, I'm a brand new dispatcher, let me dispatch for you. That doesn't have to be broadcast. Will they find out? Maybe, maybe not. Because it's all about how you speak. It's all about how you present yourself. So when you're getting out there as a new dispatcher, learn the industry. A lot of people come into this industry and the only thing they want to learn is dispatching. Oh, I'm a dispatcher, I know how to dispatch. You're not the only one. But what do you know about the industry? What do you know about transportation? What do you know about logistics? What do you know about, the four different quarters when it comes to transportation? What do you know about what the different things that makes the rates flow up and down? When people start asking you different questions about the industry, you don't say, oh, I don't know, I'm just a dispatcher. Because it's not just dispatcher, it's so much more into it. And I promise you, the more you learn about the industry, you'll see how better your business is as a whole, not just as dispatcher. So I hope that answers the question. That was from Sierra. All right, how do you scale with box trucks? That again came from Miss Tisha. Did you mean as a dispatcher or did you mean as a courier?
I feel like you already answered it, so don't even worry about it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Is it possible to dispatch while having a full-time job starting off? Talk to me, Miss Rivers. Where you at?
Good evening. How are you?
I'm just blessed and highly favored. How are you?
Good. Thank you. So my question is, I'm interested in dispatch. I've been following it for a while. However, I currently have a full-time job and I was just wanting some advice or tips on how to get started with a job. And is that even possible?
What type of job? So do you have access to a phone and computer throughout the day? Can you be on a phone? Can your phone be ringing? That type of stuff?
I'm a program coordinator for an office. So I have my own office and I have a desk and a phone and a computer. So mainly if people have questions about their training, they would email me and then I would respond to their email.
Okay. It would all depend, I see some of my dispatchers like, nope. Because I get people all the time that, they hit me up about it, about working with Gold Star and they're like, oh, I'm just looking for something part-time evenings and weekends. It's not Walmart. It don't work like that. Okay. You have to understand now, if you're able to set your business up to where when a broker calls, you're going to answer the phone. When your driver calls, you're going to answer the phone. If a shipper calls, you need to answer the phone. So a lot of people have this misconception, oh, I'm going to wake up 6 o'clock, I'm going to get my driver moving, and then I'm done for the day. I'm just going to go run errands, live life, and do all this stuff. But, a driver's going to call you, hey, I lost the address. The broker's going to call, hey, where your driver at? Then 10 minutes later, the driver's going to call. The broker's going to call back every 5 minutes. I promise you. Okay. He wants to know, where is he? What's his ETA? How much longer? What's it going to take for him to get to the shipper? He wants to know all these, and you need to answer the phone.
Gotcha.
So, and then on top of that, you have your, your rate confirmations, your POLs, getting your paperwork and emails and making sure that your driver has the information that he needs and, texting and da-da-da. So if you're able to incorporate all that into your 9-to-5 job, I definitely say go for it.
Okay. Thank you. That helped me a lot. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. What's the best way to begin recruiting drivers? Talk to me, Renee.
So it's starting off brand new. Like outside of, okay, I understand that you need a website and you need marketing tools, but as far as like, is there a place where you can find drivers that are looking for dispatchers and so forth and so on?
Okay. Your very, very first stop should be fmcsa.gov, because that's where drivers start out. It's going to tell you every single day. There's a report that you can go print out that tells you who just got an authority. Just like, I don't know if anybody on here has their own authority. As soon as you get an authority, you're going to get 9,000 calls. After you file that authority, that means that now it's becomes public record that you have filed for this authority. So that's your very first stop. Going to the FMCSA, printing that list out or carving a bit of that list out. And now here comes the sales part of you being a dispatcher, giving them a call. I always tell people, when you make that initial call to a driver, you don't know if they're driving, you don't know what they're doing. So you're just calling, introducing yourself. Hey, this is Tawana from Gold Star Logistics. First off, congratulations on your new authority. I want to be able to shoot you some information in reference to the services that I offer. So do do you mind providing me your email address so that I can provide you some information about my services? And then we can set up some time when you have time later on to talk. This way, they know you're respecting their time. You're not trying to spend 10 minutes on the phone with them right now. You're just trying to get that email address. And once you get that email address, you already have a template that you have set aside that you're just going to cut and paste into everybody's email. And then, if you do that to 10, 15, 20 people, you should be able to at least get 2 or 3 that's going to respond. And now the 2 or 3 that now with those 2 or 3 or 4 that respond, is your job to sell yourself and your services. From there, you want to go where truckers are, truck stops. They need commercial insurance, so you need to partner with someone who's doing commercial insurance, partner with factoring companies, go to where they're selling trucks at. Anything that has anything to do with where a driver will go to get something for his business, you want to be involved in. You want to go there, you want to stop there, put your flyers there, or have a connection with someone there that says, hey, when drivers come to me asking me about insurance, I'll send them your way. If you can send them my way in reference to dispatching. I have several people that I contract with. Today alone, I got one guy, assurance company hit me up saying, hey, I got a guy who needs to have his IFTA done. Can you handle that? Hey, I got a guy who needs his compliance done. So when you start partnering with these different people, they start referring people to you. So definitely, your marketing, FMCSA website, and definitely just going where the actual truck drivers are. And putting yourself out there, getting your flyers. I always tell people, don't get business cards. Business cards are like this. You want flyers, big, colorful flyers that they cannot lose. They cannot, this 4x6, and it's colorful, and it got, they're pretty, you see a pretty little face, got a pretty little face on it, and they can't lose it, okay? Versus a business card is like this, just smaller. And they're like, and I do it all the time. Oh my God, I had that card, where is it? So get something colorful that you can hand in, put in their hand and say, hey, this is me. These are the services I provide. Mine has like a little QR code that they can just scan it, and it pops up on my website and tells them everything they need to know about my dispatch service. One thing you want to make sure, I know, like I said, at the beginning, you're doing what you need to do to get started. The thing that you do need on that list to get started is a website. Okay, whether it's 1 page, 2 pages, it don't have to be 50 sheets long. You just want something that states who you are, what your services are, what you charge, and how to contact. And then from there, once you start bringing in revenue, you can grow your website a little bit, but you gotta have some type of web presence. Because what happens is someone in Texas right now doing a Google search and saying freight dispatchers in my area. If you don't have a domain name, you won't pop up. Okay. So I hope that answers your question, Ms. Renee.
It does for exactly what I was asking you for. But in short, to piggyback off that, when you recruit, when you're doing those recruits or you're doing those sales, and you do obtain some drivers, once you do that, are they just saying, okay, like how soon? Because if you got to obtain the drivers before you can really like get the loads for them. So how does that work in tandem? Like, are you already looking at the load boards and you got things ready for when you do get the recruit, or you get those recruits and then now it's a week or 2 weeks until you get them moving? Or what's the expectancy?
You look at the load board before you have a driver, because what are you looking at the load board for? What type of equipment? Where are you going? So you definitely can't be on the load board first. Load boards is something you can get within 24 hours. So if you don't have a driver right now, I wouldn't go, logging into or subscribing to, a whole bunch of load boards. Once you get that driver, he's going to tell you, I'm based out of Atlanta. I have a flatbed, and I want to only stay within the Southeast area. And he's going to fill out all your information. So once he completes that, and once you know what he's looking for, now it's time for you to head over to the load board. But you definitely can't do it beforehand, because you have no idea what you're looking for. You don't know what that driver is going to have, what type of equipment he's going to have, where he wants to go. So a load board is really kind of, to me, the last thing. You don't have to worry about like subscribing to a load board right now. Worry about recruiting and bringing the drivers in, doing your onboarding call with your drivers, finding out what they need. Is this something you can handle? Once you guys have that onboarding call and you determine what services he's looking for, and these are services that you offer, and you actually bring him on, Then from there, you determine, okay, when do you get started? Monday, okay, you can start on Monday. That gives you time to go ahead and call and get your load board started.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Okay,
Yep. Thank you.
you're welcome. Does the money come to me first and then I pay them? No, it's totally illegal. You cannot receive money from brokers as a dispatcher, okay? Your couriers have to be the one getting paid from the broker. Once the broker pays the courier, you decide how you're gonna structure your business. I recently changed mine from once a week to twice a week. So once you decide how you're gonna structure your business, that's when you're gonna send out your invoices. So for me, I send invoices out every Wednesday and every Friday. So the invoices go out based on what what I've done for you for the week. So whatever I do for you for that week, you're gonna get an invoice. So if you decide you're gonna invoice your drivers on a weekly basis, you send them the invoice and then they will pay you. Okay, you'll never receive money from a broker because you don't have an authority. Okay, so always, always, always the driver is or the courier, the owner operator, fleet owner is the one that will be getting paid, and then he will turn around and pay you based on what your fee schedule is in your agreement. If you want to be paid on Mondays, whatever it is, you have to specify that in your agreement with that driver. Oh, someone says try Office Tree as phone numbers for low monthly fees. I haven't heard of that one, but I'll definitely give it a try. Okay, yeah, okay. Which load boys we already talked about, box trucks. Same thing, box trucks, hot shots, kind of like the same thing. Again, it's not gonna be what load board, it's just about timing. So you just have to, get a few load boards and try out what works best for you. And then kind of go from there. What's the requirement to get started as a dispatcher? Do you recommend working for a company or is it something you can start easily, independently? I never use the word easy when it comes to dispatching because I don't want people to get the misconceptions. So many misconceptions out there when it comes to dispatching, like, oh, I want to be able to make this amount of money or I want to be able to do that. If the money is what's leading you, it's not going to work. Okay, because there's no way you are going to come into dispatching and you're going to be here for a week and your first check is going to be $1,000 or $500. You have to grow yourself to that. So if the money is what's leading you to this industry, then it's not going to work for you. Okay, so as far as starting out independent or starting out with a company, it's going to be totally up to you and how you learn. Either way, to make sure you have the education and the mentorship you need to understand the industry and move on with your dispatching business. And then it has to be a company that's going to accept freight dispatchers coming in that doesn't have experience. But you definitely have to decide which one is going to work best for you. A lot of people come into the industry, they may take a class. I have people that have taken my class, but they may not be ready just yet to move on to do their own thing. So they come and work on on our team. So it just all depends. All right, I hope I answered your question. Starting as a new dispatcher, can I be a dispatcher owner and have a 9-to-5 just until I can build? I think that kind of just answered that question, Kenya. If not, let me know. Do you recommend working with a company first? I think I just kind of answered that question. Is there anything you can do when a courier does not pay for a load you booked? There's several things you can do, and we're experiencing this. And I like to be real transparent when it comes to us and our business. Like we did one of those things where it's like, let's just do it. We're gonna see what happens. If it don't work, we change it. It's your agreement. It's your process. You have to get out there and try different things with your agreement. Try different wordings. We tried the thing with on a weekly basis as far as sending out invoice. It did not work. What I find when you send invoices on a weekly basis, that driver has this large lump sum that they have to pay out. So if it's a brand new driver coming into the industry and they're like, my money kind of tight or whatever, the dispatcher is the last person they pay. They want fuel, they want all this other thing, or maybe they have to pay their driver and they pay their dispatcher last. So I found with the recent change that we changed, one doing it twice a week, that the invoices are getting paid faster now because we're not sending them a lump sum of $1,000, $800, or $1,500 because maybe they don't have it. Yeah, that, you know, they're getting factoring every single day. I have heard of some people that invoice every single day, every time you book a load. So as far as, what you can do if you don't get paid, I always request a voided check or a credit card authorization when I am in my packet. So with that voided check or that credit card authorization, after 9 days, if you have not paid my invoice, I literally just go in and get it. Okay, so again, these are things that you want to put in your, and you'd be funny because you send out all these past due notices and hey, call me, let's work something out, you're kind of late, and they don't respond. But as soon as I go in the account and take the money, then they call you all of a sudden and be like, you took some money on my account. I'm like, hey, girl, you. So, so unfortunately, you have to kind of do different things to figure out what system is going to work best for you. And we've kind of discovered now that this system is better. Everyday invoicing would be entirely too much for us. We have entirely too many people that we're dispatching for as a team. But the twice a day twice a week is definitely working out way better, way better. So I hope that answered your question. I feel like I need a mentor to learn how I learn. I feel like is my issue with my career now. Talk to me, Fatima.
Hi. Let me first say I was on your call with Alex, so I'm one of his students. So, I started following you. So that's why I'm on here. And as well as another teammate I'm on here, she shared your information. So now I'm a visual person. I learn hands-on. I can see things and figure it out, but sometimes, you second guess yourself and you're like, oh, did I do this right? Am I doing this right? Is this a good load? What am I doing? I do a lot of that, but I still continue to push myself because this is something that I want to do. And, I heard another lady talking about doing this and have a full-time job. I have a full-time job. I've been there for 13 years and I'm tired. I don't want to be there anymore. And I've always wanted to start my own business in something. So when I saw this, I figured it might be better for me because, I'm getting into it and I like it. I'm just second guessing myself all the time. And, I find myself asking questions and I wouldn't know what questions to ask until I get there. That's just personally. So I do feel like I may need a mentor. So I do want to contact you on that, just to get, a better understanding of what I'm doing. So I know that when it's time to teach my daughter, because my daughter's right here. Oh my God. My daughter's right here. She's 13. So I want to start her out from young because she doesn't want to work for anybody either.
That's right.
So, I just want to make sure, I'm doing this correctly. But that's just it really. Like right now, I'm like, I'm on here. I don't have no questions to ask. I don't know what to ask because I'm not doing it right now. I have one
because it's not going to come to you until later.
Right.
So with that, I would definitely say one thing I tell everybody in this industry is there's two most important things that you have to have every single day is confidence and motivation. The confidence to get on the phone and talking to these brokers in this male-dominated industry because they already don't want to talk to you as a female. Okay, sorry to any males that's on the phone. And the motivation to get up every single day and do the same thing over and over again, and you still haven't made any money. Okay, so if you're motivated enough, you're going to get up and do it every single day until you learn it, until you get it right. So second guessing yourself is fine, but you definitely have to get out of that. That comes from lack of confidence. So the more you have confidence in what you're doing and what you're learned and what you have, the more easier to be to you. Okay. So keep in mind that anytime you're booking a load, any criteria that you get from a load, the one that has to approve it and like it is your courier. Okay. So at the end of the day, that communication you have with your driver, that communication you're going to have saying, hey, this is the load that I have. It's going from point A to point B, this many miles, da, 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 da. What do you think about that? Have that communication with him. And once you guys get that bond and get that relationship, you'll understand what it is that he wants. And they'll give you more of a confidence to do it every single day. Because now you have the understanding of what he wants and, what's it going to take for him to, in order for him to move his load. So don't second guess yourself. If this is something that you want to do, stay with it. Stay make sure you're communicating. And the mentorship is great. We can definitely talk about that, but at the same time, just stay in the circle. Stay in the group with leading ladies of logistics. Partner with other people and dispatching. You can't be a dispatcher by yourself. Okay, we're all team members here. If I can't find something, if I don't have something, those of you who took my class that are in the Slack group, you'll see we drop different things in Slack. We try to be as helpful as we possibly can in the group. So you can't do this by yourself. You have to be able to make sure that you are staying in the know, keeping your knowledge up to date, and just kind of like making sure you have like a friends and family network, because this is not something that, there's gonna be some days you're gonna want to cry. There's gonna be some days you drink a lot more vodka than usual. Maybe
I
you
don't drink. I stopped doing that. Mm-mm.
Maybe you should start back.
Same here.
But whatever it is that makes you, get through your day. It's gonna be some days because we get on our team huddles on Wednesday, and sometimes we talking about a courier behind their back. It's cool. Vent, get it out. You need to. Because every day is not gonna be peachy. Some days you're gonna wake up and you're gonna book a load. You're gonna book a load for $2 a mile for your truck, and your drivers love you to death. And then the next day they don't want to talk to you. They're hanging up your face and not answering your phone. So every day in this industry is different. So it's again about the motivation to get up and do it every single day because it's something that you want. I have amazing success stories with some people on my team. One that I always love to share with everyone is one of my lead dispatchers, Shambrisha, Sham, depending on what day it is. Happy birthday, Sham. Is she in the car? Is she in the car? Happy birthday, Sham, if you're gonna call. But anyway.
Hey. Hold on, let me make sure I got my hair right.
That is one of my leads, y'all. Her name is Sham, and today it's her birthday. So y'all drop her a happy birthday in the chat. But when Sham was working with Gold Star at her full-time job, and she came to me one day and she said, my job says I don't stop making all these calls and doing all this stuff on the computer, they are going to fire me. So she quit. And she has been dispatching with Gold Star, doing her own thing, and last week put her first box truck on the road. So it's possible. I promise you, if you want it, you'll make it happen. Yeah, you'll make it happen. You just have to make sure that you keep positive people around you and just stay in the knowledge. And just every single morning when you wake up, whether you make money the day before or not, just get up and do it anyway.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
First, I just want to say thank you to you, Tawana, for even taking a risk with me and helping me. Like when I first started, I ain't know nothing. I was screenshotting Tawana carrier packets, like how I do this. What I supposed to say? She was like, "Girl, it's at the top of the paper." But I just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate you. I think it's been like a year journey since I took your class. Yes. And I left my job in October, like she said it, and it's been good. It's been scary. It's been some tough days. It's been some rough days, but I haven't given up, and she haven't given up on me. So I just wanted to publicly say thank you, and I appreciate you, and I pray that God continues to bless you.
Oh, thank you. That's our resident deacon too. She can just praying herself off of me over there, chat. Love you, boo. But I hope that answers your question, Fatima. Just confidence and motivation every single day.
Yes,
every day
I'm gonna keep it up.
Every day, just don't quit.
I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna continue pushing myself, even though I have to go to this stupid 8:30 to 5 job that I don't
know. And the more you start liking this, the more stupider your 9 to 5 is. But you know what you do? You get you, whether you do it on your computer or paper, however you decide to do it, but write your resignation letter out. Write it out. Put it on your bathroom mirror. And when you think you're ready, put the date on it and turn it in.
I know, I've been thinking about it, and I'm really nervous because, with the way the world is working today, it ain't too nice. And, I have my 3 kids and, I'm a wife, and, you want to make sure that you always showing that you're a tough person and you want to continue going. And I keep telling my husband, I just want to quit but I don't have no other money coming in. So I have no choice at the moment. So, but I am gonna continue pushing myself, and I'm gonna figure out how to answer phones while I'm not supposed to be, doing one job, I'm doing the other. I already got in trouble, and I'm like, oh God, here we go. I just started. So I'm gonna keep going. I am definitely gonna keep going. I'm in the groups and all of that stuff, and I'm just ready, but it's just, I'm kind of discouraged, but at the same time, I'm gonna continue going.
That's the most important part. Don't quit.
All right, thank you.
Good luck to you. All right, we got a few more, and then I have to get off this car, or we're gonna be on here all night, and then y'all gonna make me cry. All right, so what percentage do you recommend for new dispatchers? So coming into the industry, your percentage is your value. So if you're gonna jump out brand new after you took someone's class the next Monday morning and be like, oh, I charge 10%. For what? What knowledge do you have? What value do you have? What are you bringing to the table to this driver in order for you to charge 10%? So maybe you want to do like an introduction coming in, hey, for the first couple of drivers, I'm charging 6%, make sure that's on your agreement. And then as you start to gain your knowledge, get a little bit more confidence in what you're doing, then you can change it to 10% or change it to something different. But just understand, jumping off the bat brand new, be sure you're offering some type of value. One thing about a driver is there's so many people out here that can dispatch for themselves. They really don't need a dispatcher. But if you're providing them some type of value, if you're providing them something they can't do, they really don't want to fill out paperwork. They don't want to fill out broker packages all day long. They really just want to drive. But I get a lot of people that say, oh, I charge 10% because I fill out paperwork and I talk to brokers all day. So there's so much more to dispatching than that. So be sure that you're able to provide some type of value, and whatever value you have, then you can put a percentage on top of it. Okay. All right, we got 2 more questions. Let me see. Best way to contact me is my website always, GoSolidLogisticsGroup.com. What is this? Did she say FMC? FMCSA Kenya, FMCSA.gov. That's where drivers go to obtain their authorities. Make sure flyers. I do most of my flyers with Fiverr, FIVERR.com. Where are the top 2 or 3 ways to get new clients? I think I just answered that. This is also being recorded. I'm going to drop the recording in the Leading Ladies of Logistics Facebook group. If you are not in that group, search Leading Ladies of Logistics on Facebook. It's a free group, so that we can make sure that you are in the group. So yeah. So again, I appreciate you guys. Like I said, I wanted to be able to do something. It's not going to be a severely long call every single month, but I want to be able to do something, whether it's new dispatchers, old dispatchers, whoever, where, we can come together and get your questions asked. I know a lot of times people say, oh, everybody wants to charge. Don't knock us people that are charging for certain things. The reason why we're doing it because it's our time, it's our livelihood. But at the same time, we also want to be able to give back and encourage and be sure that you are getting what you need to be successful in this industry. Before we go, I think who's on here? Roberta, Jakia, are you here? PJ.
Yes.
One thing, if you can tell everybody before you go. If you can tell them something about dispatching or about your journey, what would you say?
I would say, don't give up. It is not so easy. People on social media and other platforms do make it seem like it's so easy to just jump in and you're gonna start making money, but you really gotta just learn as you go, take it slow. It's about progression, and over time, if it's really for you and you find your niche, it can really be a success story at the end.
Amen. Agreed. Roberta, final words.
Hey, my final words is, I don't know her name. The last girl that was talking that you was speaking about, just giving her confidence, and she said she's scared to leave corporate America. I'm also one of them that left corporate America. I worked for the government for like 16 years. And Tawana told me the same thing she told you. write that resignation letter, hang it up. And honestly, I did that. I did that after COVID, and they asked me to come back to work. I did the resignation letter, and I just held on to it. And honestly, I just kept praying and kept praying. I kept talking to Tawana. I still been dispatching, but I knew that corporate America was about to have me come back full time, and I had to make a choice. And honestly, I stepped out on faith, and I have no regrets. So I'm telling you to do the same thing. That's all I have.
PJ. PJ. Is she here?
Hi, I'd just like to say, if you're gonna be in it all the way, 10 toes down. Just continue to get your education, like Tawana said, because every day it changes. So you want to be in there, and if this is something you really want, put all effort in it.
Amen. Yes. I think someone has their hand up. Mr. Bonner, did you have a question before we go?
Yes. How you doing? Will
Okay.
y'all be back to South Carolina for in-person training anytime soon? I missed the one last month. Yeah, me.
Y'all gonna make me buy a house in South Carolina. I'm coming back to South Carolina soon. My next in-person class would be in Miami. I don't know. I have to see it, because it has to be a group for me in order for me to come. But I do have my what do you call that thing? My online class June 26th, and I have one in July. But as of right now, I have no idea when I'm coming back to South Carolina.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, I appreciate you guys for being here. I hope I was able to provide some type of insight, some answers to your questions. I'm going to try to do this every single month. Again, we just want to make sure that you are getting the information that you need and just trying to give the correct information, correct guidance, so that you guys are succeeding in this industry. There's so much information out there. No matter where you get your information from, do your research. That whoever's class that you're taking, do your research. Make sure that they, have some references. And make sure that you're vetting these people instead of spending your hard-earned dollars on anyone that does not have the information that is going to make you succeed. And whatever you do, just don't give up. And I look forward to speaking to you all again. If you're not part of the Leading Ladies group, if you have not heard about our conference coming up in November, be sure to search for us on Facebook so we can let you into the family. Other than that, God bless you all. Good luck. And thank you so very much for supporting me. And we'll talk soon. Good night, everybody.
Good night.